Today is February 1st and I am writing out a new exercise routine right now. January started off really good, and then I got sick, and I was sick for like 3 weeks. My entire family was. We were completely down. And so now I'm starting at basically square one workout wise. I tried to work out yesterday and it was kind of brutal. So I am trying to come up with a new workout plan that's a little bit different than what I've been doing before. Before I was doing like all my exercise in the morning, and then I was basically not doing anything else throughout the rest of the day movement wise. I was just kind of staying in bed or staying sitting. But the thing is, and there's no science behind this, I want to try splitting up the workouts throughout the day and see if that helps my body, I guess, relearn how to act like a normal person throughout the day. I don't know. It might not work out. We'll see. I'm obviously just on a journey of trial and error to try to see what works and what helps the most. But basically, I'm starting from ground zero now because of the fact that I got set back by being sick. And what I'm thinking is, like I said, trying to split up the workout throughout the day. So I want to do 15 minutes in total throughout the day. Again, we're starting really small, and do 5-minute intervals. So what I'm thinking is 5 minutes of yoga in the morning or Pilates like I normally do, and then 5 minutes of my floor pedal in the afternoon, and then I really want to try to start walking. The problem is that being upright, like completely upright, is my biggest problem, and walking is probably one of my biggest aggravators when it comes to my symptoms. But that's why it's one of those things that I really need to work on, because my body is just like not used to it anymore. So I want to try to start walking, and I was reading this girl's blog, and she said that she normally does her workouts at the end of the night. That's when it feels best. For me, I found that it is the morning that I feel best when I work out, so that's why I do it in the morning normally. But she had a good point about how she works out and then she gets ready for bed, and then she gets in bed for the night and is just like down. So her body has all night to recuperate from her workout, whereas, doing in the morning, you kind of are chancing whether or not you're going to be able to feel good for the rest of the day. And I thought that was interesting. So what I'm thinking is that I will try walking at night right before I start to get ready for bed, so that I'm down for the night and hopefully will recuperate. But I'm going to start really small on the amount of walking. It's freezing cold out right now. There's an ice storm going on here in Texas. So I'm just going to be walking back and forth around my house for the next couple of days and see how that goes. That can be tiring for me as it is already, walking back and forth. So I think it should work fine. But yeah, so I think 5 minutes of yoga or Pilates in the morning, 5 minutes of bike pedal in the afternoon, and then 5 minutes of walking. I think I'm going to start a little bit smaller this week and just do 2 minutes of walking and see how that goes. And then each week I will hopefully build up by a minute. So 6 minutes of yoga in the morning, 6 minutes of bike pedal, so on and so forth. And I guess just see how that all plays out. But yeah, wish me luck. It is about 6:45 in the morning on February 20th, and I figured I should do a little check-in to see how I am doing this month. Basically, so far it has been good as far as dizziness, lightheadedness, and nausea goes. Actually, it's been really good. I haven't felt the lack of those things in a while. But I've been dealing a lot with fatigue this month that is kind of making it really hard to get out of bed, and all those workouts that I planned are not going as I planned them. I have been having a really hard time getting up because my whole body just feels like it's asleep. Like my brain feels like it's asleep. My eyes always feel really heavy. My body like hurts. It feels like, when you're asleep and you your like leg falls asleep, like it hurts. That's like my whole body feels like that. And so I have just been trying to like figure that out because it's definitely been hindering my plan for, working out and progressing, and throwing a spanner in the works. So I'm really trying to just like kind of regulate my system, and that's what I'm going to do today, because yesterday was probably the worst fatigue day that I've had so far, and I don't want to feel like this anymore, to be honest. Like, it's kind of hard, and I feel like I've been doing really good progressing and forcing myself to get out of bed, but this is making it really hard. So today I'm doing a regulation day to basically try to do every single thing possible to regulate my nervous system and hope that it somehow helps the fatigue. That might include lymphatic drainage, vagus nerve stimulation, meditating, reading my Bible, connecting to God, cold exposure maybe, just like all the things that I can do today to try to, feel better. Okay, so yesterday didn't go exactly as planned because I have woken up extremely tired and fatigued, but I am so dead set on making this last week of February good and like finishing it strong. And so I'm just gonna say, f the fatigue, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to get the things I want to get done this month done and go into March starting off strong. So I'm going to try to fix my routines, and I think I need to start with the plant that I woke up to that decided to be extremely dramatic. So I'm going to go do that and then force myself to get through this last week as well as I can. Well, it is the end of February, and I figured I would start doing end of the month reviews that included categories. That way I could look back and get a better idea of how each month went, and hopefully it will be more insight to the things I have been doing for my POTS each month. So I have a list here with different categories, and I'm just going to go through that at the end of every month. So first off, we have energy levels. I've already talked about this, I feel, a lot throughout this video, and I had non-existent energy levels this month. I found it really hard to get out of bed, no motivation, just really, really fatigued, which is category number 2. My major symptom of the month, fatigue. I've been sleeping like a rock at night, so I don't know where it's coming from. I've tried to pinpoint it. I've been looking through my bullet journal to see if there's something that I've been eating or an exercise that I've been doing or something that's causing me to be so fatigued, and I can't find anything, so I'm hoping it's just gonna dissipate going into March, but I guess we will see on that one. And then as far as flare-ups, I was lucky enough to not really have any big flare-ups this month, or at least not any that I didn't find manageable, which was really, really good, like a nice positive to add to this month, because I think this is the first month in a while, probably over a year, that I haven't had a flare-up that's kept me down for a day or two. I would say the flare-ups that I have had this month have been very minimal and only lasted like half a day at the most, which is really, really good. But the fatigue was not helping in any way. Next up, we have exercise. Out of the 28 days in February, I exercised a total of 11 of those days, which is less than my normal, or at least less than the past maybe 5 months. I normally average about 15 days So it definitely was lower, and not only were the number of days lower, but the workouts themselves were a lot shorter. I was averaging 3 to 5 minute workouts, and so there was a decent setback in that. Normally, I would say I try to do at least 10 to 15 minutes, 20 on a good day. So the fact that like my longest workout, I think this month, was 7 minutes, and the majority of them were 3, was not great. And I got really down on myself when I saw that. But then I was looking at something else, which is something new that I added this month, and it was the walking, which I believe I talked about at some point. And out of the 28 days, I was able to walk 13 of the nights, and I was averaging about 8 minutes, which is insane. Like, seriously, so insane for me, because walking is one of the areas that I struggle with most, as with a lot of POTS people. Just being up like that is really hard. And so the fact that I was getting 8 minutes a night of walking was amazing. And so I got really down on myself about not being where I wanted to be with the exercises. But then I looked at the step count that I was getting, and I averaged this month about 800 steps more than what I have gotten the past 3 months, which is insane. Like, that's 800 steps might sound like a really, really small number to add to some of you, but for me, that is insane. My average step count for this month was 2,540 steps. Again, that's 800 more, or I think more than 800 more steps than I normally get. And that to me is like a crazy number, because a year ago I wasn't even passing 500 steps. So to be in the 2000s is like such a big positive. And I think with POTS, you really have to be mindful of like the give and the take, and finding positives where you can find them. So even though I did a little bit worse in a category that I've been working on, I did a lot better in one of the things that is most important to me, which is being able to walk again normally. I'm still struggling with walking. It's not like an easy thing, but I've been getting up and I have been doing it, and I'm really, really proud of myself for that. As far as eating goes, I would say I did really good with eating. I stuck to a pretty good diet. I was eating more protein this month, which was really good. And I also added chlorophyll and L-glutamine to my morning water this month, and I found that my stomach has been feeling a little bit better, which is a great plus as well. And then as far as my daily routine, I basically had none this month. Like I said, I've been having a really hard time getting up, and so my daily routine has gone out the window. My morning routine, my night routine, I don't have any. I'm hoping in March that I kind of reestablish that and do better. I don't know what happened, but after doing that Pilates challenge in November, I feel like I finished that, and then I was like, I'll let myself rest, and then I just never was able to get the determination that I had to get through those 24 days back. And so I am going to try really, really hard in March to get back into my morning routine at least, and get back on the horse. And then the last category I have is emotions, and I would say they were like pretty good a majority of the month. The last week I was a little bit in a weird headspace, a little bit emotional. I had some things come up that have been weighing on my mind that I'll probably talk about in my next video, just like struggles with not being able to get out of the house, but I have a plan for that, and I'm working on it, and that is basically it for February, and I will see you guys for March.